So we are discussing the electrodynamics. Simply, you have learned that how the magnetic field affects the current carrying wire or current carrying coil, or how the charge is moving in the electric field or in a magnetic field. Simply, if I review your previous lectures, if we say that this is the charge Q, positive charge or negative charge, if this charge is in the electrical field E, we may say that the electrical field exerts the force on the charge and that force is equal to Q into E. This is the force and which we call it as a electric force. Means when the charge is in the electrical field, the charge will be experienced by the electrical force. The same way, if the same charge is moving with the velocity v in the magnetic field, this B is the magnetic field V, again the charge will experience the force and this force is equal to Q V cross P. So this is the electrical force when the charge is in electrical field, and this is the magnetic force when the charge is in the magnetic field. Condition is that in the electrical field, the charge may be stationary, or we call it as electrostatic charges. But in the magnetic field, it will be experienced by the magnetic force only when the charge is in motion. And the motion makes a certain angle with respect to the magnetic field. And this force tells us that the force will be zero if the motion of the charge is along the direction of the magnetic field or opposite to the direction of the magnetic field. In both cases, the force will be equal to zero. But from 0 to 180 degree of the angle, the charge will be experienced by the magnetic force. Similarly, if the charge is in between two forces, which we call it as a Lorentz force, Fl, Lorentz force, which is equal to QE plus QV cross B. It means if the charge is in the electric and magnetic field, it will be experienced by the both forces, which we call it as a Lorentz force. So it means here, this force is experienced by the magnetic field, experienced due to the magnetic field. So now simply you know that when the charge is at rest, we call it as a electrostatic charges, and it has a property which is the electrical property of the charge. So that electrical property of the charge interact with the external electric field. So as a resultant, the force will be equal to F is equal to Q into E. Similarly, here, if the charge is in the magnetic field, so here it means the charge has a magnetic property. That's why that's why it interact with the external magnetic field. So here we can say that the charge has a magnetic property. Therefore, it is interacting with the external magnetic field. And this magnetic property of the charge is because of its motion. It means when the charge is in motion, it will create its own magnetic field. So there are two laws which describe the magnitude of the magnetic field produced by the moving charge. Similarly, if we say that this charge is in a motion, this charge Q is in a motion, it will generate a magnetic field around this, and the strength of this magnetic field B is equal to some constant K Q cross unit vector upon R square. It means the magnetic field is directly proportional to the magnitude of the charges and inversely proportional to the distance from the charge, square of the distance from the charge. So this B magnetic field due to the motion of the charge this K is a constant which can be rewrite as a mu naught over 4 pi QV cross R, and V is the velocity. This is known as Biot-Savart law. So it means if the charge Q is moving with the velocity V, we can find out the magnetic field produced by this moving charge. This is the field at a distance r. It means this is the charge whose location is this, and this is the point which is identified by the unit by the position vector r, which identify the position of the point where we want to calculate the magnetic field. So the magnetic field at that point is equal to B, which is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi q v cross unit vector upon r square. So this is the formula to find out the magnetic field produced by the moving charge. It means if we increase the velocity of the charge, as a resultant, the magnetic field will also increase. If we increase the magnitude of the charge, as a resultant, magnetic field produced by the charge increase. If we increase the distance away from the charge, the magnetic field decreases with inverse square law. So now here, this indicates that this moving charge is producing a magnetic field which is equal to this. And this magnetic field is interacting with external magnetic field. And this interaction of both fields causes this force. The origin of this force is the magnetic field produced by the moving charge. It means this is the field interaction. Like here, the charge which is at rest, which we call it as an electrostatic charge, and it has an electric field. It has an electrical property. That electrical property of the charge interacting with the external electric field, and which causes the force which is equal to Q into E. The similarly moving charge produces a magnetic field which causes the force which is equal to Q V cross B here. So now here this is the magnetic field. Instead of a single charge, if we say that this is the wire in which the current I is flowing, then we may say that this is the dq is the amount of current flowing in a small element dl of the length of the wire. We can find out the magnetic field at any distance r from the wire B is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi. This mu naught upon 4 pi. Instead of a q is the dq is the amount of charges moving with the velocity v into unit vector r divided by r square. This dv, this dq, this v is equal to the velocity which is equal to distance which is dl over dt into unit vector upon r square. This dl over dt is the velocity because the charges are moving in a wire whose length is L, and within this small element the length is dl in which the charge is dq is moving. So the total is equal to L upon D. So here dq over dt is the current. So B is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi. dq over dt is the current. I dl cross unit vector upon r square. Or you may call it as a B is equal to, this is dB, sorry. This is the dB is the magnetic field due to this small element. Magnetic field due to this small charges. Magnetic field due to this small element. So total magnetic field B is equal to mu naught over 4 pi integral dl cross unit vector upon r square. This is known as a Biot and Savart law. This is known as Biot-Savart law. This is from chapter number 5, which you already discussed in the class of Dr. Yusuf. So here, this is the magnetic field produced by the moving current. This is the magnetic field produced by a single charge. So now, using the Ampere's law states that if we have a Ampere's law states that if we have a current I is flowing in the wire, it generates a magnetic field around this wire. The magnetic field B is equal to mu naught I over 2 pi r. It means the magnetic field around the, if we grip the wire in the hand, the thumb pointing the direction of the current, and these curved fingers indicates the direction of the magnetic field. Ampere's law states that the magnetic field produced around the wire by the moving current is directly proportional to the magnitude of the current and inversely proportional to the distance from the conductor, or distance from the current carrying conductor. So B is equal to mu naught I over 2 pi R. This is known as Ampere's law. Our Ampere's law states that B dot dl is equal to mu naught I. It means the magnetic line of force along the closed path. Magnetic line of force, this is the closed path. This is the closed path, and each path is known as dl. So this dl, integration over dl, gives you the circumference of the circle, which is equal to 2 pi r. So here B dot dl is equal to mu naught I. So B dl is equal to 2 pi r, 2 pi r cross multiplication gives as a mu naught I over 2 pi r. So this is the magnitude of the magnetic field produced by the current carrying wire. This is the magnitude of the magnetic field produced by the current carrying wire. So now we have to discuss what is the magnitude of the force between two current carrying wires. Magnitude of the force between two current carrying wires. Here, if we say that this is the wire in which the current I is flowing in this direction, I, if this wire is placed in a magnetic field B, you know that it will experience the force F is equal to I L B, or the force can be rewrite as a I current integral of BL into cross B. It means if the angle is 90°, this is the current carrying wire placed in a magnetic field B. Okay, external magnetic field B, and the current carrying wire experience the force F is equal to I and B. So the force is equal to F is equal to I dl cross B, and dl cross B is equal to dl B sine theta, and here in particular case sine is 90°, so this can be rewrite as a sine 90 is 1, so force is equal to ILB, because the integral over dl gives you the total length. Okay, so this is the force experienced by the current current carrying wire placed in the magnet. Okay, so now if we say that instead of this, if we have a wire, this is the wire, the current is flowing in this wire, it will generate a magnetic field around the wire. Here it will generate a magnetic field B, and this B is equal to mu naught I upon 4 pi into integral dl cross unit vector upon r square. This is known as Biot-Savart law. This is known as Biot-Savart law. So this is B. So now if we say that this is the wire in which the current I is flowing, this is another wire in which the current I2 is flowing, It means these are the two parallel wires. In the first wire, the current I1 is flowing in this direction, and in the second wire, the current I2 is flowing in this direction. This wire produces a magnetic field. This wire will also produce a magnetic field whose magnitude is this. If we say this is the magnetic field produced by this wire, we call it as a B1. B1 is the magnetic field produced by this wire. So B1 is equal to mu naught I1 dl1, its length is 1 upon distance r square. This is the wire I2. This produces a magnetic field B2. So this B2 is equal to mu naught I2 upon 4 pi into integral dl2 into unit vector r divided by r square. So here we say that this wire is in the magnetic field of this wire. So this wire will experience the force, and that force is equal to I. I is the current in this wire, which is I2. Clear? So it means if we rewrite it as the magnitude of the force on a wire 2 placed in the magnetic field of wire 1. So this force F is equal to this equation can be rewrite. The force on a wire 2 is the current in the wire 2 into integral length of the wire 2 into the magnetic field of the wire 1. So this is the force. This is the force. So this force is equal to I2 into integral dl2 into B1. And this B1 is equal to this, which is equal to mu naught I1 upon 4 pi dl cross unit vector upon r square. So here this force can be rewrite as mu naught upon 4 pi I1 I2 into integral of dl1 dl2 double integral upon r square. This is the force between two current carrying wires. This is the magnetic force between two current carrying wires. It means one of the wire is placed in the magnetic field of the other wire. Now question is that whether this force is attractive force or repulsive force. This is the important thing. The force is attractive or repulsive. How to find out? If we say that this is the current carrying wire, grip the wire in the hand, the thumb pointing the direction of the current, and these curved fingers indicates the direction of the magnetic field. So here it means the magnetic field is in this direction here. This it means this is the north pole and this is the south pole. Same way, the thumb pointing the direction of the current and these curved fingers indicates the direction of the magnetic field here. So here this is again north pole, this is again south pole. So this is north south is attractive. North south will attract each other. So as a resultant, when the current is in the same direction, when the current is parallel, the force between them is attractive force. So the force is for parallel current, the force will be attractive. But for the anti-parallel current, let's say how to find out the force for anti-parallel current here. If the current in this direction and in this direction, I1 over I2, it means the magnetic field is in this direction. Here, this is the north pole. Here, this is the south pole. And in this case, grip the wire, the thumb pointing the direction of the current in this downward direction. So as a resultant, This is the north pole and this is the south pole. South will repel each other. So if the current is in the opposite direction, they will repel each other. The force is repulsive when the current is in the opposite direction. When the current is in the opposite direction, the force is repulsive. So now this is the review of your chapter number 5. So now what we have to see now, what are the magnetic properties of the material? It means now, if we say that magnetic properties of the material. Here, if we say that, you know that this is the current flowing in a circle, in a loop. When the current flowing in the loop, it has a certain magnetic properties. So now we have to look at, just a minute. So you know that now, if we say that the current is flowing in a loop, this current I is flowing in a loop. For example, the electron is revolving in an orbit. It has a current. Clear? So in this loop, it has a certain magnetic property, and we call that magnetic property is known as a dipole, or we call it as a magnetic dipole. It means each material has a certain magnetic properties. Because you know that some materials are known as a diamagnetic material, some materials are known as a paramagnetic material, and some materials are known as a ferromagnetic material. So the magnetic properties of the material is distinguished in three categories: diamagnetic, paramagnetic, and ferromagnetic. So here, what is the causes of this magnetic property? Here we say that the electron is revolving in an orbit. When the electron is revolving, it is just like a current, rate of flow of charge. It means E over T is the current. So here, as a resultant, the current is in this direction, this thumb pointing the direction of the magnetic dipole moment. And this magnetic dipole moment is designated by the M. So this M, which is the magnetic dipole moment, it has a magnetic property. It means the charge is moving. Charge is moving. So as a resultant, it has a magnetic property. For example, let's say we have a material. This is the material which is made of atoms. These are the atoms, let's say. This is the microscopic picture of the materials.